Welcome back to the shop, my friends. Steve here at sksprops, and in today's build video, I want to introduce you to a personal friend of mine. This, of course, is the iconic Alien's Pulse Rifle. This specific one is the Nerf limited edition that they released a couple years ago. And for those who have been following the channel for a while, you know I've been slowly putting together a Colonial Marines armor set for myself. So I decided it's about time I repaint the gun to make it look movie accurate. Now, when it comes to painting Nerf guns, of course, there's a lot that you can do to mod them. For this specific one, we removed logos, we masked a lot of the stuff off, and you can go crazy with this process. Originally, I was just going to paint this off screen, but so many of you appreciate my painting processes, I figured I should probably do a step-by-step. So, I want to show you what it takes to convert and paint a Nerf Pulse Rifle. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, when modding a Nerf, it's very important to get rid of the layered paint and the logos. I wrap some sandpaper around a tongue depressor for my initial pass. I can then switch over to a finer grade and wet sand the surface. Not all the paint needs to be removed for it to be extremely smooth. Repeating this process, I removed all the decals from the body and the magazine. The raised Nerf logo was a little bit trickier. I started off with a cylindrical file to remove the majority of the material, then switched over to a flat edge file to make it flush. Additional sandpaper and wet sanding were used to make the plastic completely smooth. I also got rid of some of the really bad seams on the front of the gun, ones that would stand out in cosplay photos. Of course, this Alien's lettering has gotta go. This is removed with a variety of pin files and more wet sanding. There's also a ton of warning labels on the backside that were removed in the same way. With sanding complete, I wiped down the entire surface with alcohol to get rid of oil, whether that be from the manufacturing process or my hands. I also tape off the display screen and buttons. My first paint step will be to apply some self-etching primer. From here, I'll apply some flat black to all the exposed metal areas and then seal that with some flat sealer. Some soft iron can then be dusted onto the exposed metal. One of the steps that I dread the most because it takes forever, but it's extremely important, is masking. The original rifle was best brown, but because I don't have that color, I'm going to mix my own. I'm going to start with a dusting of espresso brown and green camouflage. This will then have a glaze of dirty down ash brown applied on top. This will tint all the colors applied and give us that brown that I'm looking for. With the masking tape removed, I'm now going to address the highly polished or worn away parts of the gun using some Krylon Premium Metallic. This paint is sprayed onto a plastic plate and then while it's still wet is applied to the surface using a brush. Because I have so many matte colors going on, the sterling silver really pops. And because of that, I really want to use it sparingly. You want to think about what parts of the metal are going to be chipped away or worn down continuously. Case in point, the release lever for the magazine will receive a lot of wear and tear around it. Also, your highest points on the top and the back. To bump up that metallic look, we're going to be applying some graphite powder. Now, if you've never used it before, this stuff can get everywhere, so make sure that you put a paper down. But it's as simple as applying it to the surface using a shop towel. After you've applied it everywhere you need to, go back with a clean shop towel and buff the surface. This is going to help remove excess graphite and make it shine. For the handle, I wanted a warmer color, so I'm going to make it look like wood. And to help me get that wood texture, I'm going to use a very coarse sanding sponge. This is drawn down through the paint and the various layers of primer. Krylon red oxide primer can then be applied to the surface. And because I wanted some fine line details, I did use a wire brush to give me a little bit more striation. Now it's time to weather the entire body using a mixture of Liquitex Mars Black and Burnt Sienna. The sienna being added to the black gives it a more greasy feel, which is extremely important on recessed areas that would receive a lot of dirt and grime. Any pools of excess pigment can be mopped away using a damp paper towel. The handle has the black and sienna mixture applied to it as well, but with a lot less water. It's very much opaque. It's also going to be applied to the release lever of the magazine. I can now go in with another paper towel and scrub some of that black away, revealing the red primer below for a nice worn look. And to amplify this even more, I'm going to apply a gloss sealer to the handle. The black and sienna mixture is also applied to some of the bolts on the body just to help break up the color. The rest of the gun is sprayed with another layer of flat sealer, then I can remove the masking from the display. And like I said in the beginning, you can go crazy with this process, but I think for a one-day build, this turned out great. So you all can see what it takes to paint a Nerf gun and make it look like a movie replica. And again, if you guys are interested in making your own Colonial Marine armor set, I have those available on my website. Currently for the chest, I am right now working on the shins and the ABBA armor and hope to have those out very soon. And again, if you're building any of my builds or utilizing HD foam, be sure to tag me at sksprops on Twitter and Instagram because I love seeing your creations. And remember, my friends, they mostly cosplay at night. Mostly.